Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So we welcome our devotees to our Sunday morning program. And today's program is very, very special because we have this way Kartikeya and Kartikeya Prabhu with us. Like to formally introduce Kartikeya Prabhu because probably most of us are seeing him or hearing him for the first time here. Even though he is very, very widely known. He is very, very, popular for his explosive teaching which is going on in widely. So Kartikeya Prabhu is a spiritual counselor and coach. He holds a master's degree in microelectronics from the prestigious University of Electronics and Industrial. His career began as a faculty member at an engineering institute, followed by a corporate stint as senior VLSI design engineer. However, his deep desire to serve humanity by sharing his wisdom inspired him to embrace motherhood. He currently heads multiple ISKCON centers in Bangalore and serves as the director of the ISKCON Young Men's Forum ISKCON. A dynamic preacher, Kartikeya Prabhu has published over 1,500 videos on various spiritual topics, widely appreciated on his YouTube channel. He is especially known for his analytical and logical presentations on the Vidhura and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, where he seamlessly blends spiritual insights with relational thought. Through his Bhagavad Gita Shloka Adit series available on YouTube and as a mobile app, he has helped countless individuals worldwide deepen their understanding and study and application of Bhagavad Gita's timeless wisdom. He is a regular speaker on the Hare Krishna TV, where his thought-provoking discussions reach a global audience. As a TEDx speaker, he has shared transformative ideas that resonate deeply with the listeners. His workshops for engineering and business students, as well as corporate professionals, have proven highly impactful, with his mantra meditation sessions particularly valued for the life-changing. Recently, Prabhuji authored and published a book titled Purity and Self-Control in Sadhana Bhakti. I think we have the book available the book today. Yes. Okay, so we know more about it. So this book is a very nice book called Purity and Self-Control in Sadhana Bhakti. Kartikeya Prabhu's influence spans India and beyond, guiding thousands of youth and families on this mission. He exemplifies the harmonious integration of spirituality, reason, and unwavering commitment. So it's a great fortune that we have His Grace Kartikeya Prabhu being here with us. Let us all welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting Haribol 3 times.
It's very embarrassing when we hear an introduction from our superiors. So I feel very fortunate to be here amongst all of you. So Vraj Krishna Prabhu is my superior, and he has been instructing me that you have to come here, but somehow I was not able to make it. But he gave me 2 dates. You can come on 14th or 21st. So no option. I'm not said to say no. I said, okay, 21st I'll come. It's very nice to see that how by Vraj Krishna Prabhu's endeavor and Vyasacharya Prabhu and other senior devotees here and all the devotees, such a wonderful place has come up now in the middle of the Maya Nagari. Suddenly Vaikuntha has manifested here. So wonderful, so wonderful. In fact, the day when I came on Janmashtami, I was so happy, to see this. So many people coming, taking darshan of the Lord. There's a hope for people now here at the junction of Sarjapur Road, to become Krishna conscious. So seeking your blessings, to speak something from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Just one small addition.
Yes.
Whatever has happened here, the secret of success is we are trying to copy you.
Very good. Very good. So I've been asked to summarize chapter 1 from Canto 3. So chapter 1, it all speaks about Vidhura. There's so many wonderful personalities in Mahabharata, no doubt. But Vidhura is one such personality who stands out for various reasons. You see how Vidhura is described in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Vidura's first entry in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is in first canto, chapter 13. So Vidura has gone for pilgrimage. He's gone to various different holy places. And then he has come back to Hastinapur. At that time, Yudhishthir Maharaj is very happy. All the Pandavas are very happy. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he glorifies. He glorifies Vidura. That's how Vidura's first introduction takes place in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is in first canto, 13th chapter, shloka 10. Very beautiful shloka. You all can repeat. Bhavadvida Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabrita. Yudhishthir Maharaj very beautifully, he says, Bhavadvida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. Oh Vidura, oh my dear uncle, you're so great. You are actually the Tirtha, holy place personified. Oh, not just that. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. You have the power to purify even the place of pilgrimage. Look at the glory of Vidura. That's how his introduction is given in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Oh, how come he is so powerful that he is purifying the holy place also? Swa antastena gadabrata, because, oh Vidura, you carry the Supreme Lord in your heart. In this way, Vaishnavas, they have this great quality. By their devotion, they're able to carry the Lord in the heart, and wherever they go, they establish a holy place, they create a holy place, and they also purify the existing holy place. And we have our dear Śrīla Prabhupāda who did that, who carried Vrindavan in his heart, and look at what he has done. All over the world, he has established Vrindavan everywhere, and one is now here at Sarjapur Road as well. So in this way, Vidur, he is glorified, for his devotion. Vidur is glorified for various different reasons. Now, this is what all the sages in Naimisharanya wanted to hear. They wanted to hear the discussion, the epic discussion that took place between Vidura and Maitreya. So in first canto, somewhat this was discussed. A glimpse was given that Vidura and Maitreya met and they had a wonderful discussion. But then suddenly the topic changed and went into second canto, where there is deep discussion about the creation. And finally, towards the end of second canto, all the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they are asking Sutta Goswami, can you please tell us what were the questions asked by Maitreya or Vidura? What did Maitreya answer? Can you please elaborate on the discussion? So that time, Sutta Goswami, he says, oh, the same question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj. So let me tell you what happened, what Parikshit Maharaj asked and what Shukdev Goswami answered. So let's begin with this shloka where Shukdev Goswami speaks about the situation of the Pandavas at that time. 316. Shri Shuka Vacha Yada tu Raja Swasutan Asadhun Ushnanna Dharmena Vinashta Drishtihi Bhatur Vyastasya Bhratur Vyavashtistasya Sutan Vibandhun Pravesha Laksha Bhavane Dadaha. Shukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj, oh Parikshit, you listen what happened. What happened to your superiors? I should say grandfathers. Dhritarashtra, he planned something very, very abominable. What was that? He, by his impious desires, he decided to kill all the five Pandavas. And what was the plan? The plan was to burn them. And this, Yudhishthir Maharaj is remembering when he met Vidura after a long time when Vidura came back from pilgrimage. And acknowledging how Vidura protected Yudhishthir and other Pandavas, Yudhishthir is glorified. Oh Vidura, you did so and so. What you did? 139. Api samartha no yushma Pakshachaya samedhitan Vipadgana Vishagnader Mochitayat Samatraka. Oh, uncle, do you remember? You remember how you were protecting us? You're protecting us in a similar way, the way the birds protect their birdlets using the wings. That's how you protected us. And specifically, he remembers the fire. The fire that took place, the great fire that took place. One day when the Sabha was going on at that time, there was a great discussion that was taking place about a place distant, from that particular palace. And that glorification was very nice. And Dhritarashtra himself had told people to glorify about that place. And then Dhritarashtra said, "Hey, Yudhishthira, why don't you and your family members go to that place for some time for outing?" Yudhishthira understood. Some Shadyantra is there in this. Something is there. At the same time, Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana and others, they had inspired a personality called Purochana. You build a house there, and that house should be inflammable house, not just cement and bricks, but some inflammable substance. And that house is famously called as Lakshagraha. Now, it's very nice. Vidura got to know all this beforehand. And Yudhishthir, being a very, very loyal person, a very honest person, Agyakari, he accepted the Agya and he left, with his brothers, mother, wife. And on the way, Vidura, he spoke to them. That's a code language. And specifically in Mahabharata it is given, he spoke in Malaysia language. I was thinking maybe in English. He spoke in Malaysia language and it is said that whatever he spoke, others couldn't understand because everyone was very cultured. They couldn't understand. And what did he speak? I'll read it as it is. Vidura said, one must act to escape disaster by understanding a sharp weapon, not made of iron, that cuts the body to pieces. This weapon does not strike one who knows it and who turns it against his enemy. It slays the underwood and strikes down the cold. He's not telling fire. See how he is using the cold language. But it does not burn the inhabitants of the holes in the great hiding place. Those who know how certain animals avoid forest fires survive. And this way Vidura told, and Yudhishthira said, I understood. Kunti Maharani was puzzled. What are these people talking? And Kunti Maharani went to Yudhishthira after they reached the place and she asked, what was he speaking? And you said you understood. I couldn't understand anything. And at that time, Yudhishthira explained what's going to happen. And Vidura, very soon, he sent another person who was very expert in digging. And he said, I've come here on the request of Vidura. And he has asked me to do certain tasks. And he did that. He created a tunnel from the house. Yudhishthira told everyone in the house, don't behave in a way by which this Purochana, who is keeping a watch on us, will get a doubt that we know the plan. For 1 year, can you imagine? For 1 year, all these Pandavas, they were living there. In a way, no one could doubt that they know what's going to happen next. And one fine day, Bhima himself set fire to the house. And through that tunnel, they escaped. Now, in this, it's a very important point to note. Purochan was appointed to kill the Pandavas. But Purochan was killed in this fire. And the Pandavas escaped. And who was that person who protected all the Pandavas? And therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj remembers this. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj is very clear that if Vidura was not there, oh, we would have gone. There's no question of we meeting him again. Now, this was one such incident. After that, there's another incident which is described by Shukadeva Goswami. 317. Yada sabhayam kurudeva devya keshabhimarsham sutakarma garyam Navarayamasa nripat snushaya swasre harantya kuchakum kumani. That's all gali that is given to Dhritarashtra in these verses. This king, he didn't do this. He was the one who tried killing the Pandavas. He was the one who didn't forbid them. Whom? Dushasana. When he was holding the hair of Draupadi and pulling her to the Sabha, at that time, the tears coming out from the eyes of Draupadi, the pious lady, that was flowing so much that washed the kumkuma that was there on her breast. So much of tears that was flowing down. And here, Vidura also had a very important role to play. You can imagine that entire Sabha, everyone was quiet. Nonsense is going on. Even till today, we don't hear that such incident have taken place in any parliament. Yes, it took place at that time. Dwapar Yuga we are talking about. Such a heinous act. A lady has tried to be disrobed in the entire Sabha where all men are sitting. And Draupadi is shouting at her pitch of her voice, is it just with me? What's happening with me? Is this justice? And she's looking at all the great personalities. Who are the great personalities sitting there? Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, and all of them. They were sitting. At that time, even Vidura was there. And also one of the brother of Duryodhana was sitting. Who was pretty pious? Who was there? Vikarna. Vikarna was sitting there. And at that time, when no elder spoke, Vikarna spoke. And at that time, Vidura also spoke. Vidura is known for his straightforwardness. Ekdam straightforward. Cut. Cut all the arguments which were there. Cut all the negativities which are there. He will not hide things. And he spoke in front of everyone. He boldly spoke. And he argued one very important thing. And he said, Draupadi could not be considered as one in the dice game. Why? Because Yudhishthira had already lost everything. He had lost himself. Then how does he own Draupadi? Now, Duryodhana and others, they have a different feeling altogether. Finally, we won, and this person is not turning everything. And he made a point: a person who has lost his own independence has no right to stake someone else, certainly not his wife. And Vidur is that bold personality who questioned all those great personalities sitting, looking at Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, and others, that these revered elders, they're sitting silently, even in such grave injustice that is happening in front of them. You see, Vidur had an important role to play here also. Whenever there was some crisis in the life of Pandavas, Vidur was there to help. And therefore, Yudhishthira, remembering that, he's saying, oh, my dear uncle, you remember how you saved us at various times? The way the bird, the father bird says the birdlets, that's how you saved us by your wings, protecting all of us. See, not just this. When the Pandavas lost the dice game, they were asked to go out to forest. How many years of Vanvas? 12 years of Vanvas. And 1 year of Agyatvas, total 13 years. And it is described that even Kunti was going with them. And Vidura, he requested. Vidura requested Yudhishthir, see, Kunti, she is very old. Please don't take her. Please leave her with me. We'll take care of her. And at that time, Vidura was married. Everyone knows the pastime of Krishna and Vidura's wife. A quiz. What's the name of Vidura's wife? Oh, very nice. Vidurani, very nice. No? Even I was not knowing. No, only when I started studying, I got to know. Sulabha. Her name was Sulabha. So this lady, she became a very good friend of Kunti. Vidura, Sulabha. These are the two personalities who took care of Kunti very nicely in their place. And that's how Kunti didn't feel separation from the Pandavas during that time. Look at the service that Vidura is offering to all the Pandavas. So wonderful. In this way, Vidura took care of these personalities. But now something else took place when Pandavas came back, from their Vanvas and Ajnatavas. It was very simple. Yudhishthir, he requested Dhritarashtra, please give us our kingdom back. He requested. And what did this person say? He refused. No, will not give. And that is the time when Krishna came as peace messenger. And that was also rejected. That was also denied. And then the war became inevitable. At that time, you can imagine, when the situation was there, Dhritarashtra called Vidhura for consultation. Now it's very wonderful to note. Vidhura is a very qualified person to an extent that he was called for consultation even by personality like Dhritarashtra. Therefore, it's very important to understand how this person was so qualified. Śrīla Prabhupāda describes that Vidhura in his previous life was Yamaraj. And a sage called Manduka or Mandavya, he had something to do with Yamaraj getting transformed into Vidhura. So there were some thieves who stole something from the kingdom and they kept it in the hut of Mandavya or Manduka. The thieves were caught and they got back all that they stole. But along with that, the soldiers, they did this very heinous act of arresting even this great sage, Manduka. The thieves were put on stake. Along with that, even Manduka was put on stake. Suli pe chadaya. And this person, Manduka, he was going through huge pain. And immediately the king got to know that certain thing has happened like this. And immediately the king came. And then he told Manduka to be put down. And he begged forgiveness, falling at his feet, please forgive me. These soldiers, they were not knowing your greatness. And they caught you in the pretext of stealing. And Mandavya, he was very clear. He said that I have no problem with you. I'll ask the right person. And he said, I'll go to Yamaraj. I'll ask Yamaraj. ऐसा punishment क्यों दिया मुझे? So whenever we have some problem, when we're going through some problem, you know whom to meet. Yes. There's no point again and again asking why me, why me. Go to the right person, ask why me. Yes. In one of the centers in Bangalore, I was giving a session on karma. Newcomers were there. And I spoke about how whatever we do in our life, it will come back to us, and whatever comes to us, that's what we deserve. And after the session, one lady came and she was fighting like anything with me. Why me? Why me? Since I didn't have phone number of Yamaraj, I couldn't give her. As I told, go and ask the right person. So he's the right person. And Mandavya, he said, I'll go and ask the right person. And Mandavya said, see, why did I get such a painful punishment? What did I do? And Yamaraj said, in your childhood, you troubled an ant with a very, very sharp thing, piercing it, and it was about to die, and therefore you also got a pain which was equal to that of about to die. And at that time, Mandavya, he became very angry and he said, but when it comes to kids, when it comes to children, their things are not considered. And now the punishment that you've given me is disproportionate. And since you have done this act, I curse you that you take birth amongst those whom you judge. That is all people of this world. And who are the ones who will commit sinful activities? Shudras will commit sinful activities, according to the Shastra in the past. They were considered to be not sense controlled. And therefore, Yamaraj was cursed that you take birth in the family of Shudras. And this is how Yamaraj became Vidhura. A nice connection here. Vidhura was very affectionate to Yudhishthir. There's a connection, yes. So Dharmaraj has come as Vidur, and Amsha of Dharmaraj is here as Yudhishthir. And actually, there was a nice affection between the two. And we see both of them, they're very pakka when it comes to Dharma. Very pakka. And therefore, imagine Yamaraj's qualification. He's not an ordinary person. He's supposed to judge a person's activities and give punishment accordingly. He cannot do a mistake. Now, such a person has come as Vidura. So you can imagine how great will be this personality when it comes to understanding of Dharma. And therefore, when he is calling not our, Dhritarashtra is calling. So when Dhritarashtra is calling Vidura for consultation, we can imagine he knows the qualification of Vidura. But I had a question that how Yamaraj can become a Shudra? How he can do a mistake firstly, and how he can become a Shudra? Whenever we have a question, we have to just ask Śrīla Prabhupāda. Prabhupada will answer. He has answered everything in his purports. Only thing that is needed is scrutinizingly study that. Prabhupada says in the purport to 113.15, I'll just read it as it is. Yamaraj has very little time to take leave from his responsible office of punishing the wrongdoers. Very There are more wrongdoers than righteous men. Therefore, Yamaraj has to do more work than other demigods who are also authorized agents of Supreme Lord. But look at this, very nice. Yamaraj had a desire. What was the desire? But he wanted to preach the glories of the Lord, and therefore, by the will of the Lord, he was cursed by Manduka Muni to come into the world in the incarnation of Vidura and work very hard as a great devotee. This is called the vision of the Acharya, understanding of the Acharya. And also, one point to note when Pandu died, so that time Dhritarashtra was made the king. But then he was just for namesake. The entire kingdom was taken care by Vidura. And when it comes to Vidura's understanding of Niti, that is, in which situation what to do, is very, very great. To an extent that the compilation of all that is called as Vidur Niti. And based on Vidur Niti in the modern times, we have something else also, Dash Niti, Chanakya Niti. So I was very fascinated to hear and fascinated to read that Chanakya Niti is based on Vidur Niti. Now, such a person has been called by Dhritarashtra for consultation. When it comes to Pandavas, they had a lot of trust in Krishna. If they want to consult someone for anything, they would approach Krishna. They'll consult with him. And the second person whom they'll approach for consultation was Vidura. So this is the qualification of Vidura. So now when Dhritarashtra is calling Vidura for consultation, immediately we should remember qualification of Vidura. How great this person is. Not an ordinary person. Very qualified person. And very, very straightforward. Because you can consult with those people who are not duplicit, who are straightforward. So much straightforward that Vidur would chastise Dhritarashtra also. Very nicely. Very wonderfully chastised. One of the chastisement which comes in first canto, Vidur has come to the house of Yudhishthir. All the Kauravas are dead. Dhritarashtra is remaining. And Vidur went to Dhritarashtra and he started counseling him, or better I should say beating him. See what he started saying. 113.22. Andaha puraiva vadiro manda pragyascha sampratam vishirna danto mandagni saragah kavamudvahan. Andha, you blind man, right from birth you have been blind. Not just that, Vadira, now along with being blind, now you become deaf also. You're hardly able to hear. And as well as Manda Pragya, your intelligence has got deteriorated. Manda Pragya. And then Vishirna Danta, all the teeth have become loose. By the way, apna bhi number aayega. This description will valid for us also in some time future. Mandagni, you have liver problems. Your Agni is Manda. You're not able to digest food properly. And then he also says, Saraga Kafam Udbahan, and you're now coughing. You're giving out mucus and making sounds. He didn't stop there. He continued. The next shloka after that he says, Aho mayyasi jantor jivitasha bhava Bhima pavarjitam pindam adatte graha palava Aho mayyasi janturasha. Alas, look at the hopes of the living entities, Jantu. He's looking at the Dhritarashtra and he's saying, look at the hopes. They want to live so much. Yatha bhavan bhima apavarjitam pindam. Look at you. You are eating the remnants given by Bhima. And who eats the remnants in the house? Dogs eat. Adatte grah palam. You have become a dog in the house of Bhima. And finally, after speaking all that, he said, get out of this place. And that's how Dhritarashtra, he finally took Vanaprastha and left. Now, very important to note, whenever we approach someone whom we want to take guidance from, that person should have this qualification of being straightforward. If the person hides things, then it's very difficult for us to get corrections. Yes. But another very important thing, that person might hide things because we might not be very eager to take corrections. That is also there. Therefore, both the sides, the qualification is very important. One side, the person should be very qualified. He should know Shastra. He should be straightforward. On the second side, I should be submissive, ready to accept the corrections given from the other side. And here, Dhritarashtra had the mood to accept corrections from Vidhura. He would accept also. He would say, yes, whatever you're saying is correct. And that's how this last counseling helped him. He accepted. Vidhura said, get out of the home. He accepted. He left. But even previous to that, many times, even before the Yuddha, Vidhura would counsel him. But still, even after accepting, he was not able to follow it. Because at that time he had the Sangha of his son, Duryodhana. Because of the Sangha of this person, I should put it as Asat Sangha. This person was not able to follow the good counsel of Vidura. But still, Dhritarashtra knew very well that Vidura is the one who can give good counsel. So call Vidur. And Vidur was called. And at that time, Vidur said, now this is very nice, an important section from chapter 1, third canto. 3.1.11. Ajata-shatro pratiyachadayam titikshato durvishaham tavagah sahanujo yatra vrikodaraye sahanujo yatra vrikodarahe shvasan rusha yatpamalam vibheshi. So first thing that Vidura is telling Dhritarashtra is Ajata Shatra. Who is Ajata Shatra? In the Pandavas. Yudhishthira. We're talking about Yudhishthira. Yes. So he's saying Ajata Shatra. So Yudhishthira has come and he's asking for his kingdom. What you should do? Pratiyachadayam, you give back. Give back his legitimate property. So the property cases have started from then. And always there have been fights. And therefore here, Dhritarashtra is making a very serious point. He's saying, you're forgetting there is a very, very strong person who is breathing heavily out of anger, and his name is Vrikodara, Bhima. And therefore, surely you are afraid of him. And I'm telling you, you should give back the kingdom. And he went on speaking more. He continued, 12. Along with this, he added a very important point. Parthamstu devo bhagavan mukundo grihitavan sakshiti deva deva aste swapuryam yadudeva devo Vinirjita Sheshan Deva Deva. See, when it comes to pure devotees, even in their chastisement, they'll get glorification of the Lord. Yes. So wonderful. He's saying, Partham Sudevo Bhagavan Mukundo. On the side of Parthas, that is the son of Pritha, who is there? Bhagavan is there. Mukunda is there on their side. And one point that you have to notice that he is Supreme Lord, no doubt. But along with that, he is the one who has conquered innumerable rulers on this planet. I think Jarasandha and others, they knew all the pastimes. And it's very important to note, he's making a point. He's there on their side and he is their Lord. And as soon as you say that he is their Lord, what does that mean? He's protecting them. He's protecting them, and you are trying to be on the opposite side and you're challenging Pandavas. It goes on to say you're challenging Krishna. Prabhupada writes, Vidhura wanted to impress upon his elder brother that fighting with Pandavas was fraught with many dangers because they were supported by Lord Krishna, who had conquered even in his childhood demons like Kamsa and Jarasandha and demigods like Brahma and Indra. Therefore, all universal power was behind the Pandavas. So this is established by Vidur. And he's warning Dhritarashtra, don't do this, give back the kingdom. Don't do this, give back the kingdom. But Vidur knew very well, Dhritarashtra, he is my brother. Whenever I tell him, he listens. But there is this person. Duryodhana was there. When Vidura is speaking to Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana was there. So pointing at Duryodhana, look what Vidura says. Vidura is saying, 3 on 13. Sa esha dosha purusha vidaste grahan pravishta priyamapatya matya Krishnasi Krishna vimukho gata shris yajashva ashrevam kula kulasya. Sorry, last line chanted. Twajash त्यजास्व त्यजास्व शैवं कुलकौशलाय. Dhaisha, this person, Duryodhan, he's dosha. Dosha means what? False. He's saying he's false personified, offense personified. सोचिए कोई आकर आपको ऐसे कहे, this person, offense personified. Obviously, externally, you might keep telling, no, no, I'm a fallen soul and all that. And when someone actually comes and says you're fallen, then we have to see what is our acceptance. Duryodhana, Esha, this person is dosha. Why is offense personified? Purusha to it. He is envious of Lord Krishna. Anyone who is envious of Lord Krishna will commit offenses. Do we commit offenses? I don't know about you all, at least myself, I do. And that's why when it is said that anyone who chants Hare Krishna offenselessly, Shigra, Ati Shigra, they get Krishna prem, that is not happening. Because offenses are committed. Inevitably, offenses are committed. And one of the main reasons why we are there in this material world is very simple. As given in Shastra, we are envious of Krishna. We are envious of Krishna. Very difficult for devotees to digest. Because at times devotees say that, now, Prabhuji, I'm chanting 16 rounds, following 4 relative principles. Initiation 1 done. Initiation 2 done. 3, they'll not give. So an important point is devotee is very difficult to accept sometimes. But all of us, we can remember that as soon as we get a thought of enjoyment, that is a thought of being envious of Krishna. What do you mean by envy? Okay, let me ask. What do you mean by envy? And what do you mean by jealousy? Okay, what do you mean by jealousy? Let's begin with jealousy. Okay, I too want to have what the other person has. Yes. He has it, I don't have. Mujhe bhi chahiye. That's okay, the jealousy. What's envy? He has it. I don't have. Even he shouldn't have. Yes. You want to replace the person. Something like that. So whenever I get a thought of enjoyment, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to replace Krishna. He is the one. He is the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagatapasam. He is the bhokta. He is the enjoyer. But as soon as I get a desire to enjoy, immediately this point has to be noted. I have that envy still within. Because servant will not be envious of master. Servant will never think. I'm talking about the Vedic servants, not the current one. Yes. They'll never think to replace the master and enjoy like the master. Never. Similarly, when it comes to us, unfortunately, this very negative quality is there called enviousness. And because of that, we're badly stuck in this material world. Very, very unfortunate. But by the mercy of our Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda, at least we are realizing, कुछ तो problem है, मतलब कुछ तो disease है, doctor के पास जाना चाहिए. And now devotees approach doctors also, the spiritual doctors, and receive the prescription of what medicines to take in the form of instructions. And devotees try to follow their best, and therefore we see that so many devotees from their demoniac natures are evolving and coming into a divine nature to an extent that they're able to distribute the message of Krishna consciousness. I find myself also in that category. Demonic, now for demonic, little bit, some aspects I've learned which I'm trying to share. So this point is very important that dosha, personification of offenses, is that person who is Purusha Dvit, the one who is envious of Krishna. Grahan pravishtoyam apatyamatya, and you're maintaining him. Pushnasi, you're maintaining him, thinking he's my apatya, he's my son. Krishna vimukho gata shrihi, shrihi. But this person who is envious of Krishna, and you are in association with this person who is opposing Krishna, therefore, there is no question of auspiciousness in your life. When I read the shloka, it was a very nice revelation that I might be trying to practice devotional service and I might expect all auspicious to come in my life. But one point to note, if I'm in association with someone who is envious of Krishna, who is a materialist, then there's no question of advancement in bhakti. Association means to accept. As soon as I accept the other person wholeheartedly, be it his words or be it his actions, suggestions, whatever, immediately this will take place in our life also. There will be no auspiciousness, gata shri, devoid of everything auspicious. Therefore, when our acharyas, they tell us who is a Vaishnava. In the first line itself, they say, who is a Vaishnava? Asat sang tyag ei Vaishnavacha. What's the behavior of Vaishnava? The first thing that they do is give up asat sang. And therefore, each one of us, we have to meditate on this. Who is that who is asat for us? And try our best not to associate, because their association will act as a big obstacle by which we'll not be able to advance in bhakti. Yes. Very, very important. Very, very important. Therefore, this association of devotees matters a lot. Yesterday evening, I was addressing a crowd of youth, and one boy came and he was asking me that I want to practice bhakti nicely, but my roommates are like this. And he started describing the glorious activities of roommates. So then I could understand why he's not able to practice bhakti. The only thing I told him is the first thing that you have to do is be in association of devotees. He was telling, see, now I'm coming here. So all of them, they're looking at me in a different way and they're maintaining distance from me. What should I do? I said, they are distancing from you. You get closer to these people whom you are maintaining distance with. Make friends here. Therefore, I always say that in the community of devotees, even for that matter, brahmacharis in the ashram, if we maintain a strong, or if we develop a strong friendship amongst each other, thick friendship, yes. If we maintain a thick friendship, then we will not need outsiders. We will not need asat sang. We will not need asat, and therefore we will not do their sangha. And when that takes place, oh, all good fortune will come. All good fortune will come. But here it's little heavy, isn't it? Duryodhana is standing there. Vidhura, He's looking at Duryodhana and saying, offense personified. Because of him, you are getting all the ill fortune. In this way, he's chastising like anything. And he's also making this very important point. Where is that? He's also making this very important point. You just give up his association. Get rid of him. And Duryodhana is hearing all this. So now, when Duryodhana heard this, what Duryodhana spoke is also very important. And how Vidhura responded to that situation is a very, very important learning lesson for all of us. So let's see, what was the discussion that took place. But one thing, when I was going through this section, when Vidura is having so much of love for Krishna, I was wondering how is it that this person got so much of love for Krishna? It was right from his childhood. Who is the father of Vidura? Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva was sent by Satyavati that there was some mechanism by which the kids were begotten at that time, which is not allowed now. So when Amba and Ambalika, when they lost their husband, so he was the one. Vyasadeva was asked by Satyavati that you go and impregnate them because who will take care of the entire kingdom? Vyasadeva went. He went to one of them and she got very scared. She closed her eyes and she begot Dhritarashtra. And that's how Dhritarashtra was blind. Because the consciousness of the true personalities who are uniting also matters. Second, he approached the second lady. And that lady became very fearful and she became very pale and weak. And she begot Pandu. And it is described Pandu was actually very weak and pale, looks like. So he went to Satyavati and he said, this is what happened. So Satyavati said, no, you should beget good kids. And he went again. At that time, Amba and Ambalika, they put forward their maidservant, Parishrami. And Parishrami, naturally she was a servant. She approached Vyasadeva out of mood of service. In the mood of service. And Vyasadeva impregnated her. And that's how that mode of service got manifested even in Vidur. And Vidur was the one who actually inherited the great wisdom from Vyasadeva. And therefore, Vyasadeva is that great personality who is glorifying Bhagavan even in such a discussion. Right from his childhood, he had this great luxury, great treasure of Krishna Bhakti directly from Vyasadeva. Now, Duryodhana heard all this directly from the mouth of Vidur. Duryodhana spoke heavily, very angry. Ka enam atropajuhav jinmam Rasya sutam yad alinaiva pushtah tasmin pratipa parakritya aste nirvasyatam ashupura shvasanah. Ka enam atra upajuhava jimmam dasyaha sutam. Who asked this person to come here? Duryodhana is saying, looking at Vidur. See, it is not some room. It is not some room conversation. It's not some room conversation. It's something taking place in the entire sabha. In the sabha, Vidur is speaking about Duryodhana and Duryodhana is speaking about Vidur. See, Vidur speaking about Duryodhana is okay. Why? He was elder. And previously, there was a lot of etiquette that was followed. Great etiquettes were followed. Yes. Even when Dhritarashtra was plotting so much against these Pandavas after the Mahabharata Yuddha, when Vidur chastised Dhritarashtra and Dhritarashtra left home, and next day morning when Yudhishthir and all the other Pandavas came to take darshan of Dhritarashtra, like every day they would do, to touch the feet and take blessings, and when they couldn't find Dhritarashtra, you know what the Pandavas did? They cried. What did we do to our superiors? Why our superior left us? They were cursing themselves. This was the etiquette. That person who is trying to kill you, to that person you're paying obeisance. Seventh canto Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj. His father is trying to kill him. But whenever you would look at his father, what you would say or what he would do? First thing is pay dandavat. अगर हमें पता चले ऐसे कोई जो हमें मारना चाहता है, someone wants to kill us, दंडावत नहीं करेंगे, दंडा लेके घूमेंगे. Actually, that's a fact. Because for us now, at least in the modern times, etiquette is just there in the pages of some books. Yes. But when it comes to Vaishnava community, etiquettes are very, very important because etiquettes are the ones that saves a person from committing offenses. And what are etiquettes? Etiquettes are those actions. You like it or you don't like, you must do. There's no question of like. Prabhupada entered the hall. Everyone paid obeisance except one person. And Prabhupada said, why are you not paying obeisances? And that person said, I don't feel like. I sometimes wonder how much tolerance Prabhupada had. Huh? I don't feel like. Prabhupada said, keep doing. You'll start feeling. That's what is etiquette all about. We might feel, we might not feel, we might like, we might not like, but since it is there, given by Guru Sadhu Shastra, I must follow, and when I follow, I will evolve in my consciousness. I will grow in my bhakti. That's a very, very important point when it comes to etiquette. So Vidur chastising Duryodhana is okay. But Duryodhana chastising Vidur, not just chastising, literally degrading in front of entire Sabha. Look at what he said. Who called this person in this Sabha? Who is he? Dasyasutam. He's the son of a kept mistress or maid servant. So almost the way he spoke was almost like he's the son of a prostitute. That was the mood in which he spoke. And at that time, he makes this point. Nirvasyatam ashu. Immediately throw him out of this place. And then someone asks him, so should we give him something while going out? Farewell, should we give him something while going out? Then he says, Purat Shwasanah. He should go out only with his breath. Although he is saying that I am allowing him to go out from here alive is my kripa. Chalo, niklo. Now in this way, he was insulted. Very, very badly, Vidur was insulted. Now, what was Vidur's reaction? Just put yourself in place of Vidur. You have come to Sunday feast. In the Bhari Sabha, someone speaks like this to us. Forget about that. Someone in the closed room chastises a little bit. We decide, enough. I'll go to the next center. I found such a certain people like that. Yes. Or when it comes to brahmacharis, okay, I'll change temple. Forget about this. But here is about Bhari Sabha. Just put yourself in the shoes of Vidur and try to experience what Vidur is experiencing. What Vidur was experiencing, Shukadeva Goswami is described. Very beautiful. 3116. Swayam dhanurdvar nidhaya maya. Dhatu puro marma sutaditopi. Sa itham atulya vanakarna banair. Gata vyatho yad urumanaya urumanayana. Swayam dhanur dwari nidhaya. So Vidur, he was having a bow in the hand. For your information, Vidur, Pandu, and others, they were all trained very nicely. Bhishma himself had trained. Dhanur Vidya he knew. Shastra he knew. Dharma Shastra, Artha Shastra, etc. So he would carry bow. He was not eligible to be a Kshatriya because of his birth, but by qualification he was. He had a bow. So as soon as he heard this, you can imagine Vidur going out or going near the door, and at the door, he kept that bow down. And what was the mood in which he was going out? Here it is described. Marmasu taditah api. So he was pierced. His heart was pierced. His heart was pierced. How? With what? The heart was pierced. Banai by arrows. Arrows? But no one was able to see any arrow that hit Vidur. And here it is said, Ati Ulubana Karna Banai. It was very, very severely shot arrows. And this entered the ears of Vidur. And that's how they enter the heart, pierce the heart. But then very wonderful thing, how did Vidur took this situation? This is something that we have to dive deep and understand. Because after all, when we come to Bhagavatam class or when we start reading Bhagavatam, this is something that we have to look for, the gems from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, by which we'll be able to advance in Krishna consciousness. One point before we discuss this, the way we're going to approach Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam also will reveal in the same mode. We want something material, oh, Bhagavatam will give a lot of material things. We want to have some sensual thing, oh, Bhagavatam will portray something sensual. We want something lusty, we want something which is out of greed or whatever, Bhagavatam will reveal that. But if the devotee is approaching, not with material desires, but only with one desire, that I want to advance in Krishna consciousness. I want to attain Krishna's lotus feet this very life. Bhagavatam will reveal. It will reveal the gems which will be assisting us in our Krishna consciousness. And here, how did Vidura considered the situation? He considered it to be Maya, the effect of, or the acts of the external nature of the Supreme Lord. He considered this all the act of Maya. And Prabhupada gives a very wonderful purport to this. Prabhupada says, Duryodhana was acting under such influence of external nature by which he would be vanquished at the ultimate end. He could not accept the sound advice of Vidur, but on contrary, he insulted that great soul who was the well-wisher of his whole family. Vidur could understand this because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. In spite of being very strongly insulted by Duryodhana's words, Vidur could see that Duryodhana, under the influence of Maya, the external energy, was making progress on the path towards his own ruination. He therefore considered the acts of external energy to be supreme. Yet, he also saw how the internal energy of the Lord helped him in that particular situation. Look at his sound analysis in that particular situation. We might be great speakers sitting on Vyasasana and speak a lot of Shastra. But when we are put in some trying situations, all Shastra is forgotten. Then the actual person manifests the haunts. The demon within will manifest. But here, look at Vidur. He has realized the Shastra. And in that situation, he is able to see this boy actually is acting under three modes of material nature. He is able to make out that. We know theoretically that people act out of three modes of material nature. But when someone does something to us, we prove that we are also under three modes of material nature. We also get into something like that. But look at Vidur. He is able to make out. He is under three modes of material nature. And Maya is supreme. Why she is supreme? Because she is the energy of Supreme. Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And Lord himself is saying, right? Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya. She is very, very powerful. It's very difficult to overcome. Very difficult to overcome. But now, one is you consider this to be a situation influenced by Maya. Other thing is to see what the internal energy of the Lord has arranged for us. Oh, that's very commendable. We might maybe in some situation we might say, okay, now he's under Maya. We feel that everyone is under Maya except me. At times you might feel that, but the point is, in that situation, am I able to see the internal energies hand in our life, which Vidura is able to see? What did Vidura see? How did Vidura take this adversity as an opportunity? Prabhupada says, a devotee is always in a renounced temperament because the worldly attraction can never satisfy him. Vidura was never attracted by the royal palace of his brother. He was always ready to leave the palace and devote himself completely to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now he got the opportunity by the grace of Duryodhana. Whose grace? Duryodhana's grace. This is Prabhupada. And instead of being sorry at the strong words of insult, he thanked him from within because it gave him the chance to live alone in a holy place and fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Very wonderful point that is made. First is, Vidhura was never attracted and attached to the royal luxury. He was just waiting for an opportunity. Just a tangent. In one of our preaching projects, one boy was very, very nice, very nicely practicing. And he was very keen about joining Brahmachari ashram also. And then I was inspiring him, why don't you join them? What are you waiting for? He said, bro, I'm waiting for the right situation. When I'll be kicked tight by Maya, then I'll come. They're very nice, and there are people waiting like that also. And even for that matter, when it comes to Grasta devotees, it's very important. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports, I think second canto, he says that everyone should plan their life in such a way, at least last 15 to 20 years, one should be a full-time devotee. The reference is
I was supposed to say one more sentence. More like in such a way one can but not do.
yes. This comes in Bhagavad Gita, 1865 purport. Yes. And here in Bhagavatam, he says that one should become a full-time, at least for last 15, 20 years of life. Yes. Because one thing is very clear, that part-time bhakti will not work for us. Now we have to get fully purified. Itna contamination, kaise niklega? So full-time bhakti is needed at least last 15, 20 years of life. One should plan very nicely. And those devotees who are about to get married or newly married, I always tell them, plan your finance very nicely so that you can take early retirement and render full-time service. Preach the message of Krishna consciousness without depending on temple for one's livelihood. Yes. If someone can do that, that's really wonderful. Just imagine, all of us are the ones who are running the corporate world here in Bangalore. Correct? No. And मेरा time था, मेरा नहीं है आप लोग. Yes. So just imagine all that intelligent brains, if they are put here in the mission, Bangalore Krishna conscious city will be just like this. What do you say? Yes. It's all about the intelligent brains needed together. And we see so much of preaching is happening only because all devotees, intelligent devotees are coming together, planning the strategies to preach, etc., etc. Therefore, this thought is very important that there should be a plan made to quit at a certain time and just involve oneself in the activities of devotional service. And Vidhura was waiting. Vidhura was waiting. When can I quit and become a full-time devotee? I want to stay here in this place. I don't want to. He's waiting. And finally, he's taking this adversity as an opportunity to render full-time service to Krishna. Very wonderful. Seeing an adversity as an opportunity. The adversity becomes successful only when the devotee takes it as an opportunity to advance Krishna consciousness. But if that adversity pulls the devotee down in Krishna consciousness or takes him out of Krishna consciousness, then that's not a very successful adversity. Or I should put it as, that's not a successful response of the devotee to that adversity. One point which I personally meditate for myself, come what may, the practice of my Krishna consciousness, my sadhana bhakti shouldn't stop. Kuch bhi ho jaye, let anything happen. Be it a health crisis, or be it some financial crisis, or be it some relationship problem, or be it sometimes the chaos that takes place amongst certain devotees. Doesn't matter, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What is important is one should carry on in Krishna consciousness. One devotee fought with another devotee, and the devotee said, "Hey, I'm not feeling like doing devotional service." So all the time, that person is coming in front of me mentally, all the time, even while chanting. I'm not feeling like doing any devotional service. I'm not feeling like being part of the congregation. I said, how can a devotee or how can one person remove you from Krishna consciousness? It's your personal decision. Yes. Come what may, our bhakti should be uninterrupted. And we see that now in Vidhura's life. He had an opportunity. Just get rid of all his good things, get rid of his Krishna consciousness, and be there in the royal palace. No. I want to be an uninterrupted devotee of Krishna. one-pointed devotee of Krishna, and he just carried on. He said, okay, I'm going out. Therefore, when it comes to us, there's no question of pausing. There's no pause button. And there is no stop button also in Krishna consciousness. There's only start button. And the best part is, we are not the one who press the start button. Devotees take our hand and forcefully put our hand to start. Yes. And the devotees are done. Then wo dur ho jate hain. And we continue. So there is no pause button, there is no stop button. This is what we need to realize. Forcefully we cannot stop. Because we cannot stop. Krishna will drag us anyways to Krishna consciousness again. But the problem is, after a pause when we come back, be it giving up bhakti or slackening in bhakti, any case, we will regret, we will lament I wasted time. So better, why get into that entire phase of lamentation, regret? Yes. Uninterrupted bhakti in every situation is what is expected. And here we see Vidhura, such an inspiration. He took this as an opportunity and he went out. Where did he go? Krishna was there personally present on the planet, for your information. He went to Krishna to meet him. Krishna, this so and so thing happened, and I want to stay with you all the time now at your lotus feet. Yes. He didn't go to Krishna. You know what was his mood? I was very fascinated when I was reading this. Our acharyas say that Vidhura had a mood that I am not qualified to be in the direct association of Krishna. It's a very painful statement. Such a great personality is saying, I am not qualified to be in direct association of Krishna. And people like myself are hankering. I want to be in direct association with Krishna. And you know what was the analysis of Vidhura? Why was he saying that? Whenever devotees make such statement, pure devotees make such statement, they will have a class to give on that. They can give a class. Why I'm not qualified? They can say that. And Vidhura is saying, I'm not qualified because I'm sinful. Only that person who is sin-free can be in direct touch with Krishna, direct association of Krishna. Come on, Vidhura, how can you be sinful? You're such a great devotee. You're such a great devotee. Krishna would give his own personal association to you. He would come to your place. But Vidhura is saying, no, whatever it is, I'm sinful. Why? Because I was in the association of these sinful people. Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra. Prabhupada writes, sins that he had accumulated by the association of diplomatic Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. He's considering that. Give me one example from Chaitanya Charitamrita who considered themselves like this, even when they were very qualified. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They are saying, no, we are untouchables. Why are you untouchable? We are mlechas. Why are you mlechas? No, you have taken birth in Brahmana family. No. We are in constant association of a mlecha. Therefore, I am a mlecha. That was the mood. That was the mood. Therefore, you know what Vidhura did? Vidhura decided, I will not go to Krishna, but I will go to different holy places where my Lord has performed the fasting to purify myself. But at the start of the class, we said, Vidhura has the power to purify the holy places. So that is his humility that he's saying, I'll go to holy places to purify myself. But we understand that he is going to different places to make it holy and purify. And here Vidhura, he goes to different holy places to purify himself. While listing the Angas of Bhakti, 64 Angas of Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Śrīla Rupa Goswami, he's telling all of us that how can we purify ourselves quickly? And he gives us the 5 great potent Angas of Bhakti. You also maybe repeat. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtan Bhagavat Shravan Mathura Vasa Shri Muttera Shraddhaya Seva Sakala Sadhana Shrestha Ei Pancha Anga Krishna Prema Janmaya Ei Panchera Alpa Sangha. Very powerful verse, very hope-giving verse. It says that these are the 5 important Most potent angas of bhakti. And anyone who associates with these 5 angas of bhakti, even little, alpa sangha, oh, that person, oh, by the way, alpa sangha, in bracket, offenseless. And that's very important. Offenselessly, when we take the association or associate with these 5 angas of bhakti, even little, such a person, for him, Krishna prem will naturally emerge, will naturally evolve. So it's a very important point that is made, that these 5 angas of bhakti is something that we have to aim at. Shortcut that is given to us. Bhakti itself is shortcut. In that there is a shortcut. First one, sadhu sangha. That is association of devotees. Specifically, association of those who are advanced than us. That is what is very. Second, Nam Kirtan, chanting the holy names of the Lord senselessly. Sadhu Sangha Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Bhagavatam, specifically, when this description is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, relishing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, verses of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vasa, staying in a holy place, specifically staying in Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, the 3 places, the prana of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Or at least stay close to a ISKCON temple which is non-different from these places. Yes. And best is to stay in the ISKCON temple. And we have a lot of place now. The boys can think about it. We have a lot of place. Staying in the temple. Mathura Vasa. Shri Murtera Shraddhaya Sevan. Worshipping the Archa Vigraha with Shraddha, with faith. So these 5 are the most potent angas of devotional service. Just by coming in touch with these angas of bhakti, the devotee can get quickly purified and attain the ultimate goal of life, that is Krishna Prem. And look at what Vidhura was doing. He was doing all of it. He was the one who was going to different places, the holy places of the Lord. And naturally he was chanting the holy names, no doubt about that. He was thinking about the Lord all the time. His mind was fixed on Krishna. Krishna himself is saying this. More than our personal association, fixing your mind on me is more important. He says this to someone in 10th canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Anyone? Any idea? Okay, gopis here, pretty close. Brahman Patnis. The Brahman Patnis came, they are with Krishna. And Krishna is saying, okay, you have done your service, you go. Like, no, we don't want to go. And at that time, Krishna says this very beautiful. See if you can get this verse, 10, 23, 32. Na pritaye nuragaya ya anga sango nrinam iha tanmano mayunjana achiran mam avapsyatha. Very beautiful verse. First time when I read this, it caught my attention. Krishna himself is saying, he is saying, na pritaye anuragaya anga sanga nrinam iha. He is saying, by being in close association with me, you will not develop anuraga for me, loving affection for me. Oh, then what I was supposed to do? Tanmano mayunjana achiram mam avapsyatha. Very quickly you'll be able to develop that loving devotion to me if you fix your mind on me. And Śrīla Prabhupāda makes it very clear how to fix one's mind on Krishna by practicing the angas of devotional service headed by Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy names. Yes. Therefore, here Krishna himself has proved a very important point, that devotees are more eager to serve the Lord by executing the angas of bhakti than being in direct association with Krishna. And Krishna is saying that service will help the devotee to develop that intense attraction, attachment to the Lord than his close association. Even Duryodhan took darshan of Krishna. But then what happened? He just called Krishna as Mayavi. He offended. Oh, Mayavi, what Virat group you are showing. Yes. Therefore, direct association versus service is what is the discussion here. And we see Vidura. He understood, he knew the Shastra, he knew very well what he's supposed to do. He went out on a pilgrimage, he went to different holy places. In one such place, he got to know that the war has taken place and it was a huge disaster. He lamented, no doubt, he prayed for them. He proceeded, he continued his journey to different holy places. And finally, he comes to Yamuna, on the banks of Yamuna. And on the banks of Yamuna, another personality comes, the cousin brother of Krishna, very, very dear associate of Krishna, Uddhava. Uddhava is a student of Brihaspati. And Uddhava had more senior teachers in Vrindavan. Who are they? The gopis. And this Uddhava, he was there with Krishna when Krishna was doing his final leelas in this world. And he heard various different things from Krishna. And along with Uddhava, there was one more person, Maitreya. But at this point of time, on the banks of Jamuna, Krishna, this Vidura, he met Uddhava. And there's a list of questions that he's asking. List of questions. And finally, the essence of all the questions, he puts it at the end. He says, please glorify Krishna. Please glorify Krishna. And through this, Vidura is openly putting it forward in front of all of us that when we devotees come together, what is that we're supposed to do? Glorify Krishna. Another very beautiful shloka from 11th canto. Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavat yashah mitoratir mitristushti nivritti mita atmanah. I call this as the Sunday feast shloka. When devotees come together, what happens? Parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavat yashah. They come together and discuss about Krishna. Pavanam bhagavat yashah. And such glories of the Lord are very, very purifying. Very, very purifying. Therefore, when it comes to all of us, when we meet, when we come together, the discussions should be centered around Krishna. There is no association where we can discuss, or there is no association of Vaishnavas where there is a permission that is given, you can discuss something else other than Krishna. Then that association is not Vaishnava association. I think in one of our Gurukuls this took place. I will not name which Gurukul. The teacher gave a class to all the Gurukul devotees that all of you should do all the activities in the association. And guess what they did? They went to a movie. This is a long time back, so Mahavatar movie was not released at that time. And they were caught. And the teacher asked, where were you all? They said, we had gone to watch movie. In the morning itself, I had told very clearly what you're supposed to do. You should do bhakti. Then no, Prabhuji, we were in the association. And the description was, there's one devotee here, one devotee here, one devotee in front, one devotee in back. I was in tight association. Now, this is not something that we are supposed to do in the association. We are supposed to come together. And as soon as we say devotee association, it's implicit according to Shastra that discussion about Krishna will take place, not anything else. Yes. And here, Uddhava was asked by Vidura, please glorify Krishna. Please glorify Krishna. And in the future chapters, we will see that Vidura will meet Maitreya. Uddhava will send, you go to Maitreya. And after going to Maitreya, what happened there? Again, Vidura asked a list of questions. And the essence of all the questions was, please glorify Krishna. I want to hear about Krishna. Therefore, in this entire thing that we saw about Vidura, we understand a few things very clearly that we can imbibe in our day-to-day life. One is his nature itself, such a straightforward and a simple person. Whatever is there inside is there outside. A person who has always been a wonderful friend of not just devotees, even of materialists like Dhritarashtra and others. Therefore, again and again, even when they were insulted so much, he would go back again and again whenever there was a need and counsel them. No selfish interest. All the time thinking about others' well-being. And very important point, especially in the section that we saw today, even in the great adversity, when he was thrown out of the palace, he took it as an opportunity to practice bhakti. And uninterrupted devotional service is what is very nicely exemplified by Vidhura. Another very important thing is eagerness to hear about Krishna. His great eagerness to hear about Krishna can be seen when he's asking questions to Uddhava or when he's asking questions to Maitreya. And when a devotee is like this, you know what is the gift that Krishna gives them? Very, very great gift. And this gift was given to Vidhura. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Anta kalecha mameva smaran ukta kaleva. Anyone who remembers me will come back to me. But when it comes to Vidhur, Krishna gave a gift to him, and this is told by one of them, Uddhava or Maitreya. I think Maitreya, I'm not wrong. Where they tell him, when Krishna was leaving this planet, he was remembering you. And Maitreya was so touched, Vidhura was so touched, so very touched. Lord remembered me? Me, the unqualified person, he remembered me. He was in ecstasy. He was in ecstasy. Therefore, those devotees who try to follow in the footsteps of Vidur, Krishna will remember such devotees. And Krishna will personally assist the devotees to attain the ultimate destination, that is Krishna Prem, eternal service to the Lordships. And by the empowerment of Krishna, that mode can be distributed far and wide, and we can keep preaching. And we can be a wonderful instrument in the hands of Śrīla Prabhupāda. And that's what each and every devotee connected to our centers should aim at. We want to become a very nice instrument in the hands of Śrīla Prabhupāda so that he can use us to do all the wonderful services that he wants to do in the place we might be staying or we might be preaching around, and help as many people as possible to get connected. So thank you very much. I pause here. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki. Any questions you want to ask? Okay, how many of you have questions? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. You speak while you.
And then the instance of both of them were demonic in nature, and then devotees dealt with them in completely opposite manner. With King Vena, he was like completely eradicated by the Brahman, and with Duryodhana, everybody tolerated him. Of course, there is Krishna being demanded that we can know these glorifications and I can release them. But then, how do we understand this apparent and then follow up on this one, like what should be, as a preacher, as practicing devotees, what should be our understanding? Because we certain times, like when new devotees are coming in, we tend to be not saying the truth, not blunt, not straightforward. We try to dilute and then give them. So from these two instances, what should we understand first of all? Like what is it actually the right way, and how do we practice it in preaching?
That's a very difficult question. Okay, first and foremost, analysis of the two situations of Vena and Duryodhana. See, when it comes to Vena, he was so demoniac, so very demoniac, that he was telling the Brahmanas, why are you worshipping Krishna? Worship me. So that was the ultimate thing. As Prabhupada says, the last snare of Maya is to consider oneself to be God. And that was seen in Vena. And that was the time the Brahmanas tolerated him till the end. If you read that section, Brahmanas tolerated Vena. But only when Vena said, I am that, Tat. I am that. At that time, the Brahmanas went mad and they killed him. Yes. But when it comes to Duryodhana's case, at least, this thing we are not seeing, where fortunately he had some mati. He was not saying that I am that. Obviously, his behaviors were obviously like that. But then he was more of a materialist who just wanted some material things for himself, like the kingdom or whatever. But at least he didn't go to an extent saying, I am that supreme. Everyone should worship me. Such things we don't see in Mahabharata, in other places, in the description of Duryodhana. And the fact that Krishna himself appeared in front of Duryodhana multiple times is a thing that he had some qualification, looks like. Yes. He was in the association of devotees and so on. Yes. So there is a good difference between Vena and Duryodhana. But in both the cases, devotees tolerated. But in case of Vena, when Vena told that I am that, you should worship me, that was the time when they killed him. And maybe if Duryodhana would have told, devotees would have done needful here also. Is that okay? Yeah, so this is what max I could think of at this point. And regarding we as preachers, when we have to speak to newcomers, we speak what they can digest. We cannot give them something which will create indigestion and never they'll turn for our programs again. But that also does not go on to say that we go on to their level to an extent where we start speaking complete material things. Yes. So from Shastra, what we can speak, by which these newcomers will get attracted and convinced about Krishna consciousness, is what we preachers have to think about. I think last year I was invited for TEDx. Some place has gone for TEDx talk. Now the topic that they gave me was exploring humanity, the consciousness. I was thinking what to speak, because I did not want to speak the whole cosmic energy, this and that. So I decided I'll speak whatever is there from Prabhupada's purports. I picked up one purport, and in that Prabhupada spoke about the different levels of consciousness. Annamay till Anandamay. And when we explained that, people were very happy. They were able to receive. That day, I got a very great confidence that even when I'm going to an association where all materialists are sitting, if I can present the scripture as it is at their level, they'll be able to accept. It will not be called as dilution for sure, because you're giving Krishna, you're giving the holy name, and you're giving the tattva that is needed. Something like that. But as you rightly said, if it's diluted, then it's a problem. When we get onto the level of speaking how to find a match for marriage in a Bhagavatam class, then it's a problem. Yes.
So, just a follow-up, like we have been noticing that in our movement also, we have been tolerating few people, including me. So people are being tolerated, even if they are doing something that is not according to Prabhupada or something. So I think, according to what you said as an answer, we have to be drastic and take a 0 or 1 decision there.
Whom to follow and whom not to follow, we have to take that decision. Yes. One senior devotee I was talking to, one scholar in ISKCON. So he was telling me, till the point these people are accepting Prabhupada and Prabhupada's teachings, I have no problem, I'll respect them. The day they reject, then we will see what to do. So we have to wait till that point. Yes.
Actually, you mentioned about like animation, nature, and enjoying this world. So I have two questions here. One is whatever enjoyment we are getting, isn't it given by Krishna only? And second, if we are not enjoying, then how? Because and nobody wants to be envious of Krishna. So how to deal with it? What to do there?
See, Prabhupada tells that it's the nature of the jiva to become happy, to remain happy. Anandamaya abhyasa. We're supposed to be happy, and that's why we're searching for happiness. Wherever we go, even when we come for Sunday morning program, we search, speaker kya bolega aaj, by which I'll get some happiness, I'll get some realizations. So this happiness is what all of us are searching for, and that's what is the first session that we give, for the newcomers, search for happiness. But the problem is the devotees keep searching till the last breath. Kahan hai? Wo first session mein bole the kahan hai? Yes. So when it comes to enjoyment, there is a way the Shastras tell the devotees to enjoy. And that is, the happiness and the enjoyment naturally comes in service of the Lord. Prabhupada gives the example, an analogy. He says that when a person is decorating himself, looking at the mirror, so say a lady is decorating, she's putting kajal, she's putting earring or whatever. So when she's putting kajal, looking into the mirror, so she's putting kajal and that same thing she is able to see in the reflection, yes, in the image, in the mirror. So Prabhupada says, similar thing, when we serve the original person, so that in the reflection also will get that happiness. So when you serve the original person, that is Shama Sundar, Krishna, naturally we living entities will be very happy and that's permanent happiness. Problem with us is now that we are not very keen to get that permanent happiness. We want the temporary, flickering, quick happiness immediately in the mode of passion and ignorance. But if we really want that, everyone is searching for that. That's Krishna Prem only, nothing else. Everyone is searching for that, the ultimate happiness. If we really want that, then we have to follow Shastra. And our acharyas have clearly given us what is that we are supposed to do, which will lead to that ultimate destination. Yes. So keeping our opinions and our own conceptions aside, if we can accept Shastra, that itself, will help us to get that ultimate happiness. Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki, Gauranitai ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki. So if somehow we can accept that, that will help. Or else we'll just keep searching, where is that happiness, flickering happiness, and Bhagavatam classes will keep hearing, we are envious of Krishna and all that, then it will be difficult. Make sense? Yeah.
Just attending 2 more questions from one. Yeah. Or maybe quick, short questions.
Okay, I'll also give a quick answer. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu, for coming for Saturday and wonderful session, and especially the last point, which was new to me, that whenever we decide to enjoy it, is that ending of Krishna. However, till now I was thinking that if I am envy of any another human being, that is being envy of Krishna, because each and everyone is part and parcel. Is my thinking right?
Yes, that's one of the understandings where if I envy the part and parcel of Krishna, I'm actually envying the whole. There's one. Another is when I have thoughts of enjoyment, I'm envying Krishna. There can be more others, which we can find in purports of Śrīla Prabhupāda.
Hare Krishna. And my question is, whenever we are doing any kind of worship, whether it's offering food to Krishna or good lady worship, sometimes our mind wanders some other thoughts. Therefore, our complete attention is not there. Is it right then to ask Krishna forgiveness, because we very quickly become aware? The moment the thought comes, we are aware that my mind is not on the job that I'm doing. How do we get rid of it?
At 10:30, I'm going to another place to give a session. There the topic is, whom does Krishna forgive? So I have an entire session on this. So, see, one of the important things is as soon as the devotee realizes that I've committed an offense, if he really wants to advance in bhakti, he'll beg forgiveness. And he'll try not repeating. But due to the force of 3 modes, if that repeats, still he'll again beg forgiveness. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes in one of the purport, he says that a devotee who is not able to control himself and is committing the same mistake again and again, he says, oh Lord, I'm eligible to be in the hell suffering, but I'll not give up your devotional service. Please forgive me. That's the mood in which a devotee does. Yeah.
Prabhuji, everyone is suffering because of Maya. And Maya is created by God himself. So why God has created Maya?
We have come here to this material world with only one goal, that is to enjoy. Yes. And if we know that there is someone above me who is looking at me all the time, I'll not be able to enjoy. So Krishna, he tells Maya, isko thoda cover kar do. Cover him. Keep him in illusion so that he does not know that I am there. So therefore Lord's Avaranatmika, Prakshepatmika Shakti, they are the ones who covers us and they give us a nice understanding. You are Prabhu. And after some time, the G gets added to it. So we are convinced about that. So because we want to enjoy, we are put under Maya. This is a very important thing to note. Yes. And another important thing is, after coming to this world, Maya is not holding us. Say this is Maya and this is we. We are holding. And after hearing Bhagavatam class, you know what we tell? Maya, chod mujhe, chod. And Maya, Are, tu chod. So our current situation is that we are holding on to Maya tightly. And pure devotees are the ones who just give up Maya and they render service to Krishna. That's the point. Is that okay? Yes. Okay, so I take this opportunity. I'll take this opportunity to launch my book here in Sarjapur Road Center. First and foremost, I'm not very qualified to author a book, but by mercy of Vaishnava superiors, some endeavor is done towards this. I'll just take 5 minutes and just tell about the contents that is there in this book. So the book that we are launching today is this one, Purity and Self-Control in Sadhana Bhakti. So this is the book which we have tried compiling from the teachings of Śrīla Prabhupāda especially and other acharyas to help us do these two things in Sadhana Bhakti. One of the brahmacharyas asking, which Sadhana Bhakti? Raganuga also? The Vaidhi. I have limited it to Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, which all of us are doing. How to maintain purity and self-control. So few points quickly. One is, I've highlighted the pillars of Dharma. How to practically implement in our day-to-day life, the 4 pillars of Dharma. And we have various urges that come in our day-to-day life, how to overcome them and continue our sadhana bhakti. How to refrain from sinful activities, especially when it comes to newcomers also have mentioned, especially for devotees. Even after practicing for a good number of years, if there are some things that unknowingly we are involved in, how to overcome that. Firstly, what is that unknowing thing and how to overcome. And maintaining purity at all levels, that is at the level of body, which all of us struggle and we try to do, at the level of speech, and at the level of mind, which is so difficult. Yes. By the way, I am struggling with all this, but I'm sure by the blessings of all my superiors here, we'll be able to implement these teachings. And finally, the grave hurdles on the path of bhakti. Because there are many hurdles, and as we know, offenses and so on. So they are the hurdles and how to overcome them. I've written one chapter on smartphone also. So you all can see how that helps. And since there is a engineer in me, unfortunately or fortunately, every chapter ends the flowchart like this. So this is how Ajamil felt. One of my favorite flowchart. And at the end of every chapter, along with flowchart, I have given a special note with a desire to talk about the principles of preaching, especially for preachers and leaders. That what are the different principles of preaching that all of us can implement in our preaching. And obviously some points for all of us as sadhakas. So when I compiled this book, I thought, let me send it to the person who is very strict in ISKCON. So I chose Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. When I was typing the mail, my hands were shivering. But then Maharaj was very merciful. He gave this wonderful review and he blessed me. And he said, building on the themes in my book, Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness, it can serve as a supplement to it. So this was a great comment by him. And with that blessing, I forwarded to other devotees, Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu. He gave his blessings. And S.B. Keshav Swami Maharaj, he gave his blessings. So he was in India when I mailed him. He said, once I go to West, I'll get free. I'll send you the review. He went to the book. Gaurang Prabhu was merciful. Gaurang Prabhu asked me a question, in how many words you want? But specific. Radhesham Prabhu was in Bangalore at that time, so I printed and gave it to him. He was very happy. He said that this can act as a manual for all the trainers, all the preachers. My primary mentor, Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu, he gave me time almost every day, 30 minutes. He went through line by line every page, every chapter, and he gave suggestions. And he has given the foreword to this book. Amogla Prabhu has given us blessings. And Shubhavilas Prabhu, so he's the one who made me understand about publications through him. So this book is published through Tulsi Books. And Gaurang Darshan Prabhu blessed me, with his reviews. This book was offered on Radhashtami to Krishna Balram in Vrindavan by Loknath Maharaj. He was taking this book and showing the book to the deities. And His Holiness Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj blessed with by seeing this book and giving it to me. So with these blessings, I'm launching this book here. So if you wish, you can also take and you take the benefit from it. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki.
Hare Krishna. So we did not have the constraints of time, and we wish the question